video, I want to review NZT48, which is a memory supplement I've been using for a while, and it makes by far the best cognitive product I have ever tried. I have used several nootropics throughout the years, but none of them had such a strong and fast effect on my attention and on my memory. So in this review, I will tell you my entire story and experience with it and why it made such a great product for me. Hi guys, I'm Ollie from MySupplementAdvice.com, and on this channel, I'm doing supplement reviews and health tutorials, so don't forget to subscribe if you want to be the first one to find out about my new videos. Now, let me give you an overview of NZT48 and why it's the best memory supplement I have tried so far. Basically, NZT48 makes the best nootropic or memory booster because of several reasons. First of all, it's because of how well and how fast it worked in my case. I'm going to tell you the detailed story in a few minutes. But to give you an overview, I started seeing an improvement in my memory and focus after about a day. My mood and my energy were also a lot better, and I had a much easier time focusing on studying, on my work, and on doing all my tasks. So the improvements were pretty major, and my overall memory was better from the second day, and it obviously got better with time for as long as I was on this supplement. Secondly, cognitive supplements tend to be designed for one issue only. Some are designed for memory and focus, others for brain fog, and others fight depression and anxiety. Well, NZT48 has a very varied formula that can help most of these issues. It's excellent for memory and attention, but it also fights depression, anxiety, stress, and it dramatically raises the mood, and I actually experienced all of these benefits myself. That's why I consider it a 2-in-1 product or a 3 or 4-in-1 product, which is very rare in supplements these days. And last but not least, it has a very long money-back guarantee, which is 90 days, and that's a lot. I've said it in some of my previous videos. This money-back guarantee is a great sign to see whether you're dealing with a high-quality product or with a weak one. That's because high-quality products tend to have a very low refund rate. So the producer affords giving out a long money-back guarantee since very few people actually ask for a refund. On the other hand, when a product is refunded in a lot of cases, it tends to have a short or a no money-back guarantee because the producer doesn't want to waste money refunding people when the brand can actually keep all this money and not offer a refund rate or a money-back guarantee. That's basically one tip you can use when buying all sorts of supplements. But the point is that NZT48 has a long money-back guarantee, so that's the best sign that it has a high quality and that very few people actually ask for a refund on it. Now, if you want to give it a try, I will leave you a link to its official website in the description down below. That's the website I used and still use to purchase my products, because I know that they are the original versions, as I have seen many fake ones all over the internet. So if you want to make sure you're getting the real and authentic product, use that link and get it from the official website. Now let me tell you my full story with NZT48. As I said, I recently tried this supplement myself, and I was very impressed with its effect and with how fast it works. Now, since I'm in my 20s, I haven't been dealing with memory loss or with mental clarity issues. However, I surely need a memory boost so that my learning capacities are higher. I sometimes have a hard time focusing, and I surely need to memorize faster. In other words, I was not a desperate case, but since I study and focus a lot, a memory boost would be a lifesaver for me. And that's exactly what NZT48 gave me. I tried several nootropics throughout the years, but the results were never impressive. In other words, I didn't really feel like I was taking anything. But things were totally different since I started taking NZT48. I started seeing an improvement in my cognition from the next day with this supplement. Focusing on my task was easier. I wasn't really thinking about other things while working, and it seemed like my tasks were very clear and easy. Honestly, I didn't even realize the change after only a few days. I continued to take the pills without actually thinking how were they really working. But after 4 or 5 days later, it struck me that all these changes were because of this product. My memory was a lot faster than before. I could memorize facts a lot better even after reading them only once. And studying had also become easier and faster. Besides, one interesting thing was a big change in my moods. I tend to be a very positive person myself, but I usually lack energy after a busy day. However, while on this supplement, I noticed my energy levels and moods were a lot higher. Coincidence? I don't really think so. That's because I stopped taking it for about a week, and a few days later after my last dose, I noticed my memory and focus were back to normal, so they were not as strong as before. So my memory improvement was definitely because of this supplement. That's why I will continue using it whenever I need a memory boost. And that's why I also recommend it to you if you need an improvement in your memory, focus, or attention. It's simply the best product I have tried lately, or actually ever. NZT48 has one of the best formulations among cognitive supplements. In fact, that's probably the main reason why it's so effective, if you ask me. It's based on a unique mix of substances. It contains the essential memory boosters, and its ingredients are very versatile. So, judging after its composition, this supplement should really work. And since I tried it myself, I can definitely tell that this is true. Plus, it has an original formula which you cannot find in any other nootropic, so that's another major advantage. Now, NZT48's ingredients are formulated in a proprietary blend. The overall dose is 750 milligrams and there are over 10 compounds inside it. The only downside is that there are no individual doses for each ingredient. However, the final dose is pretty high and the effect is much stronger when the substances are mixed up. So let's take a closer look at each ingredient. First of all, we have alpha-GPC, and this substance is naturally produced by our bodies. However, in some cases, its production and levels may decrease. Now, alpha-GPC's main role is that it stimulates acetylcholine, which boosts memory and learning, but it also improves focus. So, in other words, it's extremely important when it comes to a dramatic memory boost. Next, there's EGCG, which is a green tea extract with some major brain benefits. It prevents against Alzheimer's disease and it also improves mental clarity. 5-HTP is pretty rare in nootropics and that's because of its effect. Because it boosts serotonin conversion, it prevents depression and anxiety, and it fights insomnia. In other words, it's more helpful for depression and sadness. Since most nootropics have no effect on these issues, it's quite obvious why it's such a rare ingredient. So, NZT48 has a major advantage here. Theobromine is next, and you surely heard about this substance as you can find it in chocolate in small amounts. However, theobromine is amazing for memory as it speeds up cognition and it improves memory even overnight. Next, we have caffeine hydrochloride, and caffeine's brain benefits are surely known by everyone. However, the version from NZD48, the hydrochloride, is a bit more different because it's more concentrated. It boosts energy levels a lot better and it comes with fewer side effects. Benfotiamine is another very rare ingredient in nootropics, and that's because of its effect. Benfotiamine is excellent when it comes to reducing nerve pain, but it also seems to have some benefits in terms of cognitive function. Rosarines are the main extract of Rhodiola rosea, so a concentrated form of this herb, and they reduce brain fog and improve mental clarity and focus. Vinpocetine is a pretty controversial ingredient, and that's because it's not sold alone in certain states. However, you can take advantage of its amazing brain benefits through supplements as it prevents cognitive decline and it boosts memory and focus. Now, NZT48 only contains some very small amounts of vinpocetine, so in terms of safety, there's no reason to be worried about. And the other ingredients inside NZT48 are D-O-phenylalanine, glycosides, synephrine hydrochloride, B-complex, and huperzine A. All of them are active ingredients, so they are directly involved in the memory boosting process. And concluding, you can now see that NZT48 has one of the best formulations from the market, if not the very best one, so its effect on memory is totally understandable. NZT48 looks great in terms of capsules and serving size as well. It's designed as gelatin capsules, which is the ideal because it has some average dimensions, it's quite easy to swallow, and it has no sour aftertaste. So you shouldn't have any issues swallowing and taking these pills. As for its dosage, it's again the ideal because its serving size is 1 pill per day, so it only requires you to take 1 pill every day. On the other hand, most nootropics require between 2 and 6 capsules daily. Honestly, taking over 3 capsules every day is extremely inconvenient. On the contrary, taking a pill daily is quite the ideal. That's why I always try to recommend products that have a low serving size, if possible. Since NZT48 fits this criteria, it's even better. I personally haven't experienced any secondary reaction while taking NZT48. Now, nootropics tend to cause some issues related to cognitive system, headaches, dizziness, or nausea. However, they don't appear in every user nor in every supplement. In fact, I would say that they are more common in products that have ingredients in very high doses. However, that's definitely not the case when it comes to NZT48. So, in my view, this product is extremely safe, even in the long run. I've been taking it for a while now and there's no sign of any side effects. That's why I have a lot of trust in it at this chapter. Price is probably one of the few downsides of NZT48. It's true that nootropics tend to be quite expensive, especially high quality ones, but this doesn't make this product less pricey. That's for sure. Even so, I can surely say that it's totally worth the money, especially after trying it out. Now, NZT48 is only available on its official website, as is the case of many nootropics. You may find it in certain retailers at times, but I don't advise you to buy it from there because the version is usually fake and the price is either higher or much lower if it's not the original one. For this reason, I advise you to purchase it from its official website only. In fact, that's available for any other supplement. So let's see its full pricing options. Standard cost per bottle is $60. There's a discount for 2 bottles or anything higher. So in this case, you can pay even $39 per bottle and shipping is free for anything above 1 bottle. Now, I agree that $60 per bottle is far from affordable. That's why I advise you to go for the largest package and pay less than $40 for 1 bottle. That's what I actually do, and the price is much better. And since I plan to use this product on the long term, it's even better. But in terms of value, it's definitely worth it. I know it can be a bit expensive and quite hard to afford for some people, but I have tried many other nootropics and none of them had such a strong effect on my memory. So I personally would be willing to pay this price judging after the results I had with it. That's why it's one of the few nootropics I actually recommend. So, is NZD48 a good option? Is it worth the money or not? It's definitely worth it. It makes by far the best cognitive supplement I have ever tried. It has an excellent mix of ingredients with a unique formulation. It worked better than any other nootropic in my case. Its effect appears very fast, in a few days. It dramatically increases memory, focus, and learning skills. It doesn't cause any serious side effect. You only need to take 1 pill per day and it comes with a 90 days money back warranty, so you can refund it anytime in this period. Obviously, it's not a perfect product, and if you ask me, its price is the biggest downside it has. However, given its great effect, it's definitely worth it. Besides, I advise you to go for the largest package because the price is $20 less in this case. So honestly, NZD48 is the nootropic I plan to use for a long while now. In fact, if there was one cognitive supplement I had to use for my memory, it would surely be this one. That's why I totally recommend it to you, and I'm pretty sure that your memory will thank you once you start using it. As I said, if you want to give it a shot, you have the link to its official website in the description down below, so I really advise you to use that one in order to avoid fake versions from sellers or retailers that look like the official websites, but they're not actually so. If you ever try NZD48, please let me know how it goes and how fast you start to see some changes in your memory. Thanks for watching.